I know how difficult it is within the companies, because we are involved in the e-talks projects, to get the data out of the databases from the companies, especially in this area.
Yes, and there the issue isn't our unwillingness to share, it's our clunky ways of historically recording data, absolutely.
Which yes, I was going to comment on that. There's a question over there, but maybe I have a follow-up question on that one myself. Do you think that it would be helpful to have that alternative methods of trying to help you identify and document data and study reports would help you to try to retrieve, for example, what they said in the e-talks project, the legacy?
Definitely. One thing we've committed to and put in a lot of work on in our company over the last 5 years is building better databases so we can actually get to the raw data, and putting informatics front ends in place that enable you to search. You know, it's absurd in this day and age that I can use Google and hunt who knows what on the World Wide Web, but I can't find out whether we made a particular compound 2 years ago. You know, that's an absurd situation. So we are making a big investment. We are changing that situation. We need to ask cross-farmers and cross IMI and cross EFPIA how we can find ways to put search strategies together to bridge across bits of data that we've actually not realised could be associated. We haven't discussed that previously, but now that you've asked the question, Nico, it's something that we will bring into scope.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it earlier on. There was a question over there.
Thank you. Masca from company Beljet in Belgium. I see in the paper we receive for this topic, there's only a lot of pharmaceutical industry. Do you have already contact with SMA to work at this project?
We are aware of a number of SME organisations that potentially could contribute to this work. In the way that the IMI process works, the EFPIA partners are responsible for defining what they want the call to be in the first instance. And we are instructed not to have direct contact with academic groups, not to have direct contact with SME groups, but to prepare a call, to publicise the call, and then to foster interactions as much as humanly possible. So just today I've interacted with a few people involved in SMEs. You're now another one.
Yes.
And I'm encouraging the SMEs to get together with the relevant academic leads who are interested in forming the consortia so that the selection process can occur. That started at the moment. Yeah. And I think Anne will be coordinating that.
All the communication should be, if you have questions on, in order for the call topic and the competition to be fair, we ask that you do not directly contact the EFPIA companies, but that you ask the scientific questions through the IMI office, at which point the answer will be distributed to all people that have registered an interest.
So the academics will register an interest with Anne, the SMEs will register an interest with Anne, and Anne will make sure that information gets disseminated around. And Richard and I will make sure that if anybody like you asks a question, that it goes back to Anne and goes within the process.
Yep. Any other questions there? Is there any? There's a question over there at the back.
Sorry, Hugh Laverty, MRC, CDSS, University of Liverpool. Just a couple of very simple questions, and probably more directed towards Anne. In terms of engaging with regulators, I'm assuming it's not necessary to have regulators named as a partner of a consortium, that you have to just identify a mechanism with which you should engage with them.
Sorry, there's a couple of words that I didn't pick up correctly.
Sorry, it's
regulatory, is that?
Regulatory, so the regulatory agencies. So the call encourages engagement with regulatory agencies. So the question I'm asking is, I'm assuming they don't have to be an official partner of a consortium, that you just have to put in place a mechanism detailing how you would engage with them.
Yes, there are different ways in which you can engage them. One of them is by letting them be a partner. The other one is by foreseeing money to be able to go for consultation, for example. And another one is through advisory boards, etc., etc. So there are multiple ways in which you can engage the regulatory authorities. Now, Matthias, do you have any other?
I think these are the three ones. What the EMA, for example, made relatively clear is that they prefer to be either the coordinator of the topic, to have complete control over the whole project, or not to be member, but then to be contacted or involved via this consultation process or via an advisory board. They are happy to participate, to consult, to support us, but not as a normal member. They see some problems in independency if they do that.
Okay, well, there you have it. Matthias Gattuado was
Thank
able
you.
to give further clarification.
Sorry, and another point. In terms when you're pulling together the actual proposal itself, how do we demarcate between what the applicant consortium is going to do and what the EFPIA members are proposing to do? I'm thinking especially in terms of things like in vivo models where there's a commitment to do repeat dosing. How much detail does the applicant consortium have to go into in order to be able to describe that work, which obviously will be discussed once the applicant consortium has been selected? Does that make sense?
Okay, I'm going to give you an answer, but I probably want to double check that one. In my mind, you have been given indications on what the EFPIA consortia can do. So it would be good that you address all the objectives on everything that needs to be done, but that you somehow indicate that it was indicated that the EFPIA partners could contribute in this particular activity.
And I would very much hope to see bids indicating specifically areas that you want EFPIA partners to engage in, because that makes it much clearer at the negotiation stage. And I think the issue that could arise is if you have identified something you would like an EFPIA partner to do, but it's not contained within the wording that's in the document at the moment. And we would need to make sure that that's not an accidental error of wording. I've made lots of accidental errors of wording in the course of preparing slides and drafting documents, so Anne would be the ideal person to link in on that and make sure that doesn't come through accidentally. EFPIA partners will do whatever we can to get this moving, so I would encourage you to be innovative, and if necessary, if you think you'd like us to do something that we haven't proposed up till now, please get in touch via Anne, and we'll see whether we can do it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, there was another one.
Another question there.
Hi, my name is Lucas Noldes, Noldes Information Technology from the Netherlands. Sorry for my late arrival due to big train troubles in the Netherlands.
There too.
Yes. What else is new? My company develops tools for research, software and electronics tools for automated measurements on rodent in vivo models, behavior, physiology, cardiovascular signals, brain signals, and so forth. Blood metabolites. In the papers that I read so far, I see SMEs mostly defined as a small healthcare companies. I read, well, we are not a healthcare company. We are an instrumentation company, tools developer. Could our company also become a member of an applicant consortium?
Okay, 2 questions first. Did I hear you say that you depend on Novo Nordisk?
No, my name is Noldes. That's just my name.
Okay.
I'm not associated with any pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, so the criterion is that these companies that can participate are small, medium enterprises, non-profit organizations, and universities, research-based organizations for non-profit. If you are not belonging to those categories,
no, we're an SME, 100 people. We often engage in FP7, FP6 projects.
According to the European definition, then you are eligible for funding.
So you don't have to be a biotech company or a drug discovery firm, or
no.
Okay.
However, these companies can also participate. But they would not be eligible for funding.
Which companies? The
bigger companies.
Oh, but the bigger companies, yeah.
Sure. But you're an SME, so.
We are an SME.
So it sounds like you're fully within scope. It's a matter of aligning with an academic group that's forming a relevant consortium and competing to be part of that consortium.
Sure.
Yeah, and Anne will make sure those interactions happen.
Okay, thanks.
Any more? A couple more. Who's first?
I didn't.
My name is Liliane Richert. I am an academic from academia in France, but also I have started a small SME and I work on human hepatocytes. And I wanted to know what is the best way to know who is wanting to lead a consortium. Is that really through you, or is that to the website? What is the best way to do it? Because I understood we are not supposed to be in direct contact with the people from the EFPIA, but how to know which academia people are interested in being leaders or building consortia?
So here your specific question is about which parties are willing to be leaders, whereas you yourself might not want
to tell them what we are able to do, etc.
I think this also gets back to the question that was asked this morning from the SME network. How can SMEs link up with consortia, because many FMEs can be accidentally invisible?
It's a very good question. I must admit that we haven't thought about that particular aspect. What I may be able to do with the consent of eventually consortia that wish to be leaders is to send you the email, but more I cannot do. But I have to ask consent. No, the question is different. The question is, how do I get to know the leader of a consortium? And that is indeed more difficult. That the partnering tool is not foreseeing at the moment. What I will take this very interesting question away. Thank you for it, and we'll see whether we still can adopt something where consortia leaders willing to lead a consortia would be able to actually tick off a field. Yeah.
We will find a way.
I will find a way of.
We'll find a way to get this done, but I think it does beg the question for other SMEs who aren't here today. How do we make those opportunities?
Yeah. Then I have a second, more scientific question, if I may.
Yeah.
You said that most of the in vitro systems are not fully. Were not fully acceptable. Like they do not give all the answers that are needed. I agree with you. But how can we know more about why you failed using the in vitro system in the company? For example, with human hepatocyte, is it because the system is not good enough, or is it because we did not have access in enough cells from various donors, etc.? All these type of questions, I think we need to know if we want to come back with a reasonable, acceptable project. You understand what I mean? Because the company have failed. They know more about the failure that we know about.
I'll start with this one. Richard will want to come in as well. We are discussing this, and to misquote an American politician who I've got no particular sympathy for, this is very much an unknown. Many pharmaceutical companies have been getting together and starting to exchange information on what we've done in the past. And I think it's fair to say that what we've done in the past is chaotic. It's not been well put together, and there simply isn't a big list of which models we've evaluated under which rigorous conditions. So one of the big benefits from this whole activity is that we'll get much more professional understanding what legacy data we've obtained up till now. But don't expect us to have all the answers when we start. Richard, we've been talking about this.